This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so good morning again, everyone. Thank you for signing on to this morning's webinar with the Community Conversations with the Better Business Bureau Educational Foundation. We are joined again by Ms. Monde Donaldson, who is the VP of, let's see, what was it? The Better Business Bureau Educational Foundation of Central and South Alabama. In this position, she creates awareness for the BBB by building relationships with business leaders, community partners, and general public through educational programs. As a Mobile native, she came to the BBB after spending 27 years at Spring Hill College in the Advancement Division. In 2006, she was named Fundraiser of the Year by the Mobile chapter of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. She also led development efforts at McGill-Tulane Catholic High School for 10 years. Before coming to Spring Hill, she worked at the University of Alabama, the Anniston Star, and the Pensacola New Journal. She is a 1975 graduate of the University of Alabama, where she served as editor of the student newspaper, The Crimson White. Her civic involvement also includes the Rotary Club of Mobile, Mobile Area Chamber of Commerce Small Business Council, and vice president of the Diocese of Mobile Catholic Foundation Board. So welcome everyone to this morning's Community Conversations, focusing on how to attract and entertain customers. We'll be focusing on the 5 gestures of trust with Ms. Donaldson from the BBB. So with no further ado, I will turn it over to you.
Good morning, everybody, and I want to apologize for these little technical difficulties we're having this morning. I'm learning something new, and evidently I didn't learn my lesson very well, so I apologize for having to hold my phone instead of using some earphones here. I'm delighted to be back with y'all in Gadsden, in the Etowah County area. It's a growing, booming area, so I'm hoping that some of the things I can tell you today that will help you, benefit you in your everyday business. So if you, Will, you want to go to the next one? So I'm going to talk about basically 2 things, attracting and retaining businesses, but I'm also going to focus quite a bit on the 5 gestures of trust. So what you're going to find out is that the 5 gestures of trust are really the hallmark of retaining and attracting new customers. The Better Business Bureau has been in Alabama since 1954. The Mobile office was the first office, and then the Birmingham office opened the next year in 1955. We're an international organization. We've been around for 100 years. And for those of you who don't know what we do, the Better Business Bureau promotes trust in the marketplace. And what we accredit businesses who meet very high business standards. I'm happy to report that we have 100 accredited businesses in Etowah County, and of course, we'd like to see that number grow. We have strict guidelines. You have to be in business for 6 months. You have to be licensed. You have to fill in a lot of the check a lot of the blanks for us to be a member of the Better Business Bureau. As Will said, a lot of my job is talking to people and just educating them, and I'm happy to be here with y'all again today. So next slide is just a picture of me in person. I mean, just a picture of me. There I am, but y'all can see me here. And so we'll go on to the next one. We're going to cover a couple of things today. We're going to cover the idea of how the 5 gestures of trust started, an overview of the findings, what they are exactly, and some way that you can apply these to your businesses. Okay, Will? Yes, so here we're going to go to the overview of the findings. So what we found was that trust matters. We asked businesses how important it was to them on a 1 to 10 scale, and you can see they said 9.5. And then we asked customers the same thing. How important is trust to you when doing business with someone? And they said 8.5 was the rating. Okay, next. Only 1 in 4 customers reported that being completely likely to trust companies with which they do business. All right, next. So how is trust changing over time? So this is really kind of interesting. There's not as much trust in business as there was 5 years ago. And I think people's standards today are much, much higher. And I think the onslaught of online shopping and unfortunately the loss of a lot of local businesses that people just don't trust who they're doing business with because they don't know where they are. They don't know who they're dealing with. So trust is changing over time. And I think that's why it's so important for small businesses and local businesses to do everything they can to promote trust in the marketplace, because then your customers are always going to come back to you. Okay, Will, if you want to go to the next one. Yes, so I like this one. What makes consumers trust businesses? Number one is going to be honesty, integrity, ethics, and transparency. And then two is a reputation built over time. And then third, the service and the quality. If you're dealing with a local car dealer and you don't get good service, then you're probably not going to come back. But if your salesperson or sales rep knows you, you're going to come back every time. And I would welcome people to put stuff in the chat room if they want to just say, hey, I think I've gotten good service at a certain, I don't know if I'm trying to open the chat. There's Emily. Thank you. We're good down here. So if anybody I would really appreciate it if somebody would share experience they may have had with a local business that could talk about why they like that business. So just feel free anytime somebody jump in and just say why you like a particular business and what they do, and then we can read it out to the group as we go. Okay, Will. So some of the key findings. So look, this is kind of hard to read, I know, but what distinguishes trusted businesses? So what we found out was that we asked consumers an open-ended question to tell us why they trusted businesses, and what they told us was they wanted to see honesty, transparency, customer service, and ethical practices. That those were the key components when trusting a company. All right, next. Then we asked the businesses the same thing. What distinguishes trusted companies? I may be off a slide here. I'm sorry about that. And so when we ask the businesses, they say they want to make things right quickly, focus on treating their employees very well, believe that how they treat their employees is directly how they treat their customers, and they realize if they made a mistake that they'll correct it as soon as possible. All right, Bill, go to one more. Let me see if I can catch up here. And then we asked consumers a similar question, and they say the businesses always get the job right. They can trust the business will tell them the truth. The businesses make it easy for customers to get their money back if they're not happy. And the businesses seem to focus on treating their employees very well. You can always go into a business a lot of time, and you can just see, I've seen it many times, and the employees just look tired and they're not smiling. That is not a welcoming environment. So a customer wants to come in and feel welcomed and have a greeting when they come in. And I think that is so important. That's your first step. Whoever that employee is the first one that's going to see that customer. So, good morning. How are you doing? It's a great day. What have you got planned for the day? Just be happy, upbeat, and attract them and retain them. They want to come to someplace that's a happy, upbeat place. All right, Will, if you want to go to the next one. Yeah, so now we're going to talk about the five gestures, and we're going to talk about them in a little in depth. And then again at the end there, I'm asking if anybody has anything they want to say or jump in. Please just put something in the chat box if you want to have a business that you want to give a shout out on why they do things right. Okay, so the five gestures are honesty, transparency. Now we're good. Honesty, transparency, being proactive, being humble, and being equitable. All these really boil down to what if customers resonate with respect. Respect is something that your parents taught you. It's something that you learn at church. and it's something that we need to live by every day. Okay, respecting one another appears to be the central component for building and retaining trust in consumer business relationships. Okay, all right, next. So the 5 gestures of trust is like a new framework that can help businesses and consumers evaluate relationships. And this diagram demonstrates that. It's not as if you're going to do one or the other. You have to do them all. It's like that. It's kind of like this. Kind of looks like a DNA cell with the gestures interacting, powering the nature of the company and the mindset and the behaviors at all times. The more you can combine these gestures, the better chances you have to develop better relationships. And there we down have in the corner again. Show respect, get trusted, be better. And I know that all of you want your company to be better. Whether you're the chamber, whether you're the local gas station, whether you're the paint company, whether you're the automobile dealership, we always want everyone to be better. Okay, Will? So we did this survey. This was a survey done by our international BBB office. As I said, we have BBBs in Canada, United States, Central America. So we're going to, this was a survey done all over in a lot of these places, Canada and the United States. And so what businesses told us about being honest. And honesty is what builds trust the most. And without trust, we don't even need to exist. I think I really like this. Many customers or businesses will identify honesty as a fact for destroying or building a relationship. How many times have you been to some place and they try and sell you something and you come out and you think you're happy and then 2 days later you're not? You try and take it back. It's a defective product and they say too bad. That's not being honest. Okay, we're ready for the next one. This is transparency. Transparency really means having nothing to hide. Consumers experience transparency through how willing companies are to share information, particularly when doing so might make them look vulnerable. Be transparent. Does the company appear to be willing to disclose that information that is important to me, even if it, like I said, even if it makes the company look bad? You may have gone and bought something sometime and you really like it or you're looking at something and the salesman, and I think I look at, like maybe our local Ace Hardware. They may recommend one product over another because they're listening to what your needs are. Yet you don't really need the most expensive screw or the most expensive part to your lawnmower or whatever it is you're trying to fix. They might just recommend saying, this is the one that's best for you. So they're being very transparent of what meets your needs. Okay, next. And be proactive. Proactive means, anticipating what the customer might want or need, and then working together to achieve those goals. To anticipate customers' needs and provide solutions without being asked, that is great customer service. And then also to respond quickly and affirmatively with good communication to customer requests or issues that any customer might raise. The key to being proactive is signaling that the company is always focused on improving customers' experience, and that is not normal. That this is normal. It's not extraordinary. It's part of their everyday business. And there again, I'm going to use my local Ace Hardware as a great example of this. They welcome you every day. They're very proactive. They walk you to the aisle to show you where your item is. That's being proactive, and that's taking care of your customer. So that's the Spanish for Ace Hardware, just in case anybody's ever down here and wants to know where that great Ace Hardware is. Okay, next. Being humble. there again, that's something that we have heard since we were in Sunday school or little children. It's something that the Bible speaks to us about all the time. And this is something that a business told us, that I realized I would not be anywhere without my customers. I couldn't stay in business. I try to do the right things by my customer and to make sure they are treated with good customer service. Being humble may not be the first thing a company thinks about when building trust, and ultimately a relationship with customers, however, can be among the most powerful. So I want you to think of that. Humble, usually we're looking to see what the bottom line looks like, or what were our sales for this month. And all that is very important. I mean, that is how we stay in business. But I think we have to walk out the door every day and say, can I be humble on the way I treat my customers? And as I want to keep saying throughout, that is how we attract and retain customers. I want you to think about these 5 gestures of trust as we continue to go through the morning. And also, at the end, I'm going to give you some very specific things that you can do with your own employees. Okay, well, let's go to the next one, which is being equitable. It's not about one party, but the entire situation. Customers are our partners. That may be this is the last gesture, but our research suggests that it may be the most important step trust building companies can take. Commercial transactions are inherently interactions that involve a balance of power, and companies do seek money, but they need to share that power, and seeing a business transaction as a two-party thing, and which both parties are trying to accomplish something good and be successful. So, there again, how does the actual business transaction take place? This kind of came to me, spoke to me yesterday. I had to go buy some Clorox wipes down here, and as you all know, what the price of Clorox wipes looks like these days, or that I could even find some. But the price was, hiked up quite a bit. So I'm thinking, okay, is that really being equitable? Because I paid $2 more for some Clorox wipes that, this time last year wouldn't have cost anywhere. But I was thankful to get them. I don't mean that, but that's really not being equitable, lifting the price when somebody really is in need of cleaning supplies. Okay, next. Okay, remember we asked consumers to relate to us if they had positive or negative experiences when we analyzed all this information. And what we found out was consumers who reported they had positive experience with companies and that they were loyal to them tended to ascribe to the 5 gestures to those companies. So look at their honesty, transparency. Look at how I have now. Humble is less, but look, it's right behind being proactive. Okay, Will, if you want to go to the next one. Okay. There's some more information on that. Next slide shows that customers revealed. Wait a minute. Okay, here you can see this is now we're going to ask the businesses. So the businesses see themselves as highly trusted. We're more likely to report that they can adapt these 5 gestures of trust. Look how high trust is. And then the other ones are just right behind them, all about the same. There's very little difference between honesty and being humble. Okay, Will? Now, for customers, a customer experience falls along the line as positive to negative. Customers we spoke with, they described their experience in terms of key feelings, interactions, and so these are symbolic of their overall experience. And what we heard and observed is that they related these experiences that led us to characterize these descriptions as the 5 gestures. Okay, and then the next couple of slides, Will, if you'll go to the next one. So here's what they look like. All right, let's go to the next one then. So we're going to talk about some stories here. And there again, I'm going to stop after I tell a story and hope that somebody else or that Will can open up somebody's mic to tell a story. So the first story is a woman named Sonia who had been getting some food from a international company for many years, and it involved gourmet food and food-related items packaged in a pretty box. And she had been using this service for a long time, and she decided she wanted to send her parents a similar box. So when she sent the box to them, she was charged for a year. And she called the company back and inquired, and they just said, well, I'm sorry, what you ordered was a gift package, and it's a year-long subscription. And she said, well, no, I just want it for once. So she said, well, you can just can't. They said, well, I'm sorry, you can't. That's not what you ordered. That's it. And she said, well, goodbye. That's the end of my business with you. Because they weren't following, they even though the subscription description may have been technically correct, it was not what the customer wanted. The company representative, when presented with the customer's complaint, did not communicate that it is important to resolve that for her. They weren't very humble, and of course, they weren't very equitable. So Sonia walks away with a very negative experience, and she leaves the company for good herself. All right, now we have Sonia, the next slide. Here she is ordering some clothes this time, and she ordered some clothes from Europe. The top came. It was not what she had ordered. She called them back. She asked them for a replacement. They said, we'll be happy to send the replacement right away, even before she returned what she had. So let's look at what happened here. They responded immediately to her inquiry. They provided a pathway to resolving her issue. The company trusted the consumer to return the item she had ordered before, sending her a new top. They felt obligated to continue their relationship with her. And then they presented that the customer's needs are paramount, that it's important to the customer to receive the clothing in a timely manner. And the company positions itself. And I think you find a lot of big companies like Lands End, LL Bean. I know I had a company similar to this, J. Crew, recently, send the product back. So does anybody have anything they would like to share on another company that they've had some really positive or negative experiences with? I know somebody up there has had something they'd like to share. And then, Will, if you'll go to the third example that I was going to give. And there, this gentleman went into a hardware store. It wasn't my Ace Hardware down here in Spanish. But he went in, he needed a part, he was working on something in his yard. He went to the local store where he liked to do business. The salesperson was very helpful. He told him, we don't have what you need, but I think if you'll go down the street, this is where you can go find it. I hope you'll come back next time. John came right back the next time. It wasn't like the man could order it for him because he was in the midst of a project in his yard. So the hardware people listened to his story. They resolved his problem with him, and they were very humble. It saw that the customer as a partner whose interest it was on protecting, and they put the customer's immediate need. So that's very key. The customer's immediate need over the company's short-term profit. And then it shared information it could have kept to itself and sent him on to another store. Now, that's the kind of store that we all want to shop at. At least that's the kind of store I want to shop at. All right, next. So I'm going to give you some potential applications. So we'll go to the next one. So here are some things that you can do with your employees. And really at the end, and I'm getting kind of close to the end here. So if there's anybody that doesn't want to type in, but if they want to just, if Will open their mic up when I finish in just a few minutes. so that you could share some experiences that you feel would help the group. So ask your employees and customers about their experiences they had that make them feel like wanting to do business with you. Ask them to give you specific examples and talk about them. When you receive a customer compliment or a complaint, think about those 5 gestures that we've talked about and go back and say, how did I do in relation to that? Was I trusting? Was I proactive? Was I humble? See if you can identify with the customer. And then I really like this one. Plan a discussion with your employees around the 5 gestures, and then to ask them to identify gestures in their own daily practice. I really think it's important to have team meetings, whether they be once a week, every day, once a month, and to have training for your employees. How they greet customers, how they hand a bag, whether it's a shopping bag, if you're in a retail store like a clothing store, how you present the bag back to the customer. Thank you so much for shopping with us. We look forward to seeing you next week. Same thing if you're a grocer or any store. Train your employees to just be upbeat and helpful. And you want to retain that customer. There's a CVS and a Walgreens on every corner. So if you're CVS, you want them coming back to you. You don't want them going across the street to Walgreens or the local pharmacist. And I'm sorry to say I don't know who the local pharmacists are in Gadsden, but I'm sure there are some. But how do you get those people to keep coming back to your door? And here's one way, and that's using a customer survey or getting some feedback. Or maybe you can send them an email if you have some kind of an email list asking for a customer satisfaction survey. Or you could just even have a fishbowl and say, give us your best suggestion, or what did we do right today? Give them a little keychain or a pen or something if they fill out a customer satisfaction survey. Give them something to walk away with that has your branding on it. And then think about how these 5 gestures of trust work into your strategic plan on how you approach customer relationships. Start by assessing where you are in terms of each one of these gestures, and then think about where you want to be and identify the gaps and how to plan to close them. And I would also say, include your employees on that. I think an effective team works better when the employees feel some ownership in making some of the plans or giving their suggestions. So they'll be more likely to follow your lead and apply some of these principles if they see you treating them with trust and respect and being proactive. So we've always treat others as you want to be treated yourself. So I think that's just a little golden rule to think of when we think about retaining and attracting customers, and when we think about the 5 gestures of trust. It's that simple. Love one another and treat each other with respect. Okay, Will, I think we're almost to the end. Here's some resources for you. We have a big booklet, and I believe I sent Will a copy of this booklet already. And it's about I think it's about a 10 to 15 page little booklet on going into much more detail of everything I said. So if you went to this BBB.org/5 gestures, you could get this report, or if you want, and that would be online. But if you want a real printed report of it, you could just put your name in the chat room, or you could email me. Will can. So Will's sending something along there. He's giving you the where to go. And it's a great tool, and I think you would enjoy using that. Okay, and the next slide, I believe, is just something that you could put up if you wanted to put a little graphic up in your office, in your break room, or if you wanted to just print this out. Will, if you'll type that up in the chat box as well. If you wanted to get some more information, or if you wanted me to go into more detail with you at your own business, we've had a we've done this presentation before, and we've had a law firm call back, get in touch with us and asked us to send this presentation to them directly so that they could work with their employees. So, there's a law firm applying all these principles to their everyday work. So it's a great resource and a great tool, and BBB.org is a great resource for everybody. Okay, Will, I think the next one is just our local contact. Yes, so Will mentioned I'm down in Mobile, but our main office for the Better Business Bureau is in Birmingham. We cover everything from Birmingham South except for 4 counties, which would be in the Lee County area. That's our service area. We are here for you 5 days a week. We have operators on duty if you wanted to call and check out a company. If you were having problems, if you got a call saying that you'd won the Publishers Clearinghouse, but you had to send money to claim it, obviously that would be a scam. We take calls like that all the time. We're getting a lot of calls right now about storm scams, unfortunately, and COVID scams, unfortunately. So first up there is our Birmingham office information. We're right next to UAB. In Mobile, we're down by the Bankhead Tunnel, if y'all are familiar with that. And there's our website, bbb.org/CSAL. We have a great Facebook page that we post to every day that gives tips for businesses, things to watch out for. We are very proactive for small local businesses. That's the majority of our BBB members. Yes, I'm going to answer that Gary's question in just a second. We have a Twitter account, and then we also have an Instagram account. So you can follow us and you can know what the trends are when it comes to businesses, when it comes to if you need to learn more about the 5 gestures of trust. Gary's question is, can you make a complaint about a company that did not fulfill their obligation on a job? Absolutely. We do that every single day. You can file a complaint with us. You can go to bbb.org, or you can call us at 800-824-5274. And I'm going to say that one a little slower again so Will can type it in. That's 800-524-5274. Yes, there it is. Or you can call us. You can call us, or you can go to our website, which would be bbb.org/CSAL.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that phone number. You'd think by now I would have that phone number by heart. As many times as I refer folks to you guys, and speaking on, the 5 gestures of trust, it's one small thing can go a long way. As many people that call the chamber here or come to the chamber for different reasons, about once or twice a week, I'll have someone who's a complete stranger to me, just general public, looking for something that can't find it. And almost every time I'm here, I'll just print them directions and a map from here to there. It's just simple things like that you never know what it can help someone and make their day.
Right. And I do know that the chambers and all around Alabama, people come in and they start complaining about businesses, and some of the things that are complaints are things the chamber can't address. But if you call us, we can. And so what would happen there if you filed a complaint about a business that didn't fulfill their obligation to a job? You would file the complaint. You would have to have the attached paperwork that went into what you paid already, what contract that you said, and then we would assign a number to you, and then our complaint department would take it over after that, and then they would be the one trying to deal with the business, and then you go from there. Does anybody have Will, do you have some happy story to share maybe about some business up there that you might want to give a shout out to that you know of? Maybe you don't want to play favorites, or maybe somebody else would. even want to talk about something they've done in their own business, to talk about, hey, this is what we've done, and it really seems to attract and retain customers.
Yeah, I could definitely weigh in on that, but as you said, in the position that we're at, it's hard to name names and not be misconstrued as playing favorites. But we have a lot of fantastic small businesses in the area, everything from retail to restaurants to consultants, and it's great seeing their passion and their commitment to their customers as well. I mean, on a side story that's has nothing to do with businesses, something that you do, months and months ago can affect you down the road. But even with this,
That's
we had
right.
someone that was, for example, someone who was moving to the area. I think they were from Texas, somewhere further out west, and was looking for land in the area and housing, and I helped them out with that. And they come in here one day after they moved here and said, "Hey, you helped me last time. Now I need help with this." And it may be something crazy. In this gentleman's instance, he was looking for hay bales, where to buy hay bales. The chamber doesn't handle hay bales, but guess what? Chances are we know someone, or I will find someone. And I did, and I called him back and took care of him. But you never know what one small thing you do for someone can bring them back to you and have a long-lasting impression.
That's exactly right. That's exactly. And there again, that's the golden rule, as I said all along. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I think if you want to retain customers, you want to attract new customers, be the one that's the standout that's following all these principles. Because if you follow these principles, people they're gonna come into your business, whatever it might be, whether it's a printing shop or a gas station or hardware store, appliance store, whatever it is. And I'm sure the person that you suggested they get hay bales from was probably not a big business, but they were a farmer who probably needs your help more than they need your help right now too.
Do we have anyone else? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What are you going to say? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to wrap up and just say if anybody needs anything from the Better Business Bureau at any time, like I said, we are trusted. We've been around for a long time, and our mission is to promote trust in the marketplace and help businesses and help individuals.
Okay, well, I don't see more questions in the chat. I'll give you guys a few more seconds to put something in there if you want to ask any last minute questions before we end this session and stop the recording. So I don't see anything else coming across my screen here, so we'll go ahead and wrap that up. There's Emily Carter. You want to catch that one?
So, Emily, your question is there anything the BBB can do to help with businesses who aren't a member, who isn't a member? So we have profiles of every business in our computer base. So you can, I think you can come help. You could maybe improve your profile, and then you could also just get some of our materials maybe and just start using some of those principles in your business if you're not ready to join right now. But we could help you. We can help you and just give you some materials that might help you for now. And if you want, my email directly is, and I'm gonna let you put it in there, is M Donaldson, DONALDSON at csal.bbb.org. So Emily, if you or anyone else is on, if you want to contact me directly, I am very happy to speak with you and send you what we can to help you or guide you.
And then looks like Emily asked another question about from the consumer side.
Yes, they can do the same thing. If the consumer has an issue with a business who isn't a member, we get those all the time. So yes, the consumer can call us and we can help you. We can help you file a report, or we can just guide you through that. And then even if it's something like a lot of times like MediaCom, AT&T, some of those big folks, there's a consumer complaint line for some of those really big companies as well. But being a member It does definitely has its benefits, but when it comes to filing complaints, that has nothing to do with it. We will do anything we can to assist you.
And I said thank you. So I don't see
All
more
right.
questions. I don't see more questions or comments in there. So I'll go ahead and cut off the recording. I think I have a link. Hang on. Yeah, there's a link right there in the chat for everybody if you want to watch this over again later, review any of these slides. Also, you can find our last community conversation about some of the top scams going on right now to kind of stay abreast of those if you guys want to watch that. But with no further ado, let me turn off the recording. We will wrap up the session.